Servus Männer, it's Red Pill Germany again. Today I want to respond to an article that more than one of my subscribers has forwarded to me, and they asked what my opinion is on that. It is an article from The Guardian that claims that Angela Merkel's 2015 gamble to open the borders, of course, has paid off. Um, I want to respond with several observations, several points. I go from the more obvious to the less obvious. And I want to say, first of all, well, link down in the description below. And I have some additional sources, of course, for various points I make. Some of the points I made already in previous videos, and I try to put them in the info box. For BitChute, I try to put it in the links then, if possible. Okay, so first of all, a lot of things, or some things, in the article are correct. Many things are factually correct. There are sources, I have to say. In many articles, mainstream media articles, there are no sources whatsoever. In this article, there are some sources, so that's nice. That's a good. Um, I have to also give praise, at some points. But that part of the video is over already. So now let's go to the criticism. Yeah, I still want to mention what is correct. So the article says, for example, that Angela Merkel is, still the Chancellor of Germany. She had to step down from her office as CDU party leader or chairman, yeah, but she is still Chancellor. And that is something that not a lot of people have predicted, and that is true. The AfD is getting weaker and weaker. Their peak is in the past, and maybe they will get stronger in the future. I don't know, but at the moment they're getting weaker. So it looks good politically for Merkel. That is true. I'm not arguing with that. I said that in my own videos time and time again. So she doesn't want to be the candidate again in next autumn's election, but she can more or less, she can't decide, but whoever follows her, and the article says that also, will probably be closer to Merkel's policies than to her opponents. That's also true. So for Angela Merkel, politically, the gamble paid off or didn't hurt her career. Or many people in 2015 or 16 might have said, oh, I give her one more year, then she's done for. And yes, that's true. It didn't come to that. So Angela Merkel is a smart politician. She knows how to survive. She has read The Prince from Machiavelli, maybe. I don't know. Undoubtedly, she's good at that. So these things the article gets right, okay? In so far, the article is correct. But what the article also talks about is that Germany benefited from that, or it wasn't any harm for Germany, or Germany is stronger now because of it. And this is what people would also understand when they hear that it all worked. Angela Merkel said, "Wir schaffen das." The article says or translates that as "we will manage," or "we can do it," or something like that. We can deal with it. We can manage this situation. And did we? Did we? That's the question. And I say no, we didn't. Yeah, it's a horrible situation in Germany. It will get worse. We are still solving problems with money, which we will not have anymore next year or the year after that. Very soon, our money will run out, and then we have a big problem. And this is what the article doesn't even talk about. And now I will start really with my criticism. So, the first point I want to make is the economic side of things. And the article says that, half of the people who came now since 2015, half of them have work. So they pay taxes. So there you go, right? Germany benefits. Yeah, that is a very superficial and I would say wrong assessment. That is not true. It's not true at all. There are many studies, major 4 studies that are being quoted, and you can mine different kinds of data from these studies depending on how you read them. But I don't want to I don't want to argue about percentage points here. Let's just say, for the sake of argument, okay, I agree with you. Half of them work, but what does this entail? This entails full-time work as well as part-time work. Yeah, so if you work 1 or 2 days a week, you're already counted among these 50%, right? And a lot of these jobs, believe me, they have been just created to get these people off the streets or out of the welfare office, right? A lot of these jobs have been created, and the German taxpayer is paying for those jobs. Okay, because many of these new arrivals, they work in the centers for other new arrivals. Yeah, so this is entirely funded by the German taxpayer, and there is no wealth being created here. There is no benefit. It's not like they work in a car factory or something like that. This is social budget. Okay, this is in the state budget. It is under social spending. Yeah. And this is welfare. It's another form of welfare. You're not counted officially as a welfare recipient, but basically it is welfare. That's what it is. Artificial job creation so that they're off the lists, out of the statistic. That's the first thing. And the second thing I want to say to this first point, the economic side, is that they're not top earners, okay? They are making not a lot of money even when they're full-time employed, and that means that they're not actually contributing to the tax payments in Germany or to the welfare programs, because we have a progressive tax system in Germany, and that means the more you make, the more you pay, the higher your ratio is that you pay. The percentage of taxes rises the more money you make. Okay, that means people who make like 20,000, 30,000 a year, they hardly pay any taxes at all. But people who pay 300,000, who make 300,000 euros a year, they pay a lot of taxes. But these people are very few. So the bulk of the tax payments comes from people who make between 50 and 100,000, 120,000, 150,000 a year, something like that. So it's like skilled workers. The engineer comes to mind that makes maybe 80 to 100,000 a year. They pay a lot of taxes, especially when they are single, when they're not married and no children, not cohabitating. Those single high earners, they pay a lot of taxes and a lot for social programs. But these newly arrived people, they're not making 100K a year. They're not making 80K a year. So that means they're not paying any substantial taxes. They're not contributing. They're taking more out of the system than they pay in. And this is true also for Germans who don't make a lot of money. This is how our tax system works. Okay? It's progressive. That means they're not contributing. Period. Okay, let's come to the second point now. I want to get this done. It's already long enough here. And that is the security thing, law, how they stick to our laws. Are they a danger for society? And here they just say, oh, crime is actually lower than it used to be. So actually no problem. Yeah, okay, but let's look at the details here. Crime in the developed countries, in the first world, it is a big trend for many years already, since the early 2000s. Crime is going down, and that because we are just more compliant. Yeah? People in the West, European people, are committing way less crimes, and this is a trend for many years already. So, if you look, however, at not like something like insurance fraud or something like that, but actual crime of a physical nature that harms people in a very immediate way, you will see that since 2015, these categories have gone up. And I made videos about that. You can look them up. It is very clear that these new arrived people are overrepresented among the people who commit these specific kinds of crimes. And that is important. And this is what the people see, what they feel. And by the way, it's not just the numbers that went up. It's a new quality of danger. Things that we don't even have words for in the German language. Yeah? things that have never happened. You can go 1,000 or 2,000 years back. These things have never happened in Germany, and now they do all of a sudden. So don't tell me that everything is okay. And the article also doesn't talk about the thousands of victims, European victims that we had here. It focuses in several paragraphs on crimes or acts that are committed out of a form of religious fanaticism. But this is not, this is also happening, but this is not the main thing. It is these little things that happen on a Friday night in a dark alleyway. It's nothing to do with religious fanaticism. It's just these people are violent. And of course, Germans become victims of that. And not everything is okay. No, it's not okay. It produces a lot of victims, and our government is responsible for that. They brought this on the German people. Okay, that was the second point. Very clear, I think, if you look at the statistics in more detail. Okay, then these were the obvious things. Now let's go to the less obvious forms of criticism, points of criticism I have. One is it talks a lot about the perspective of the newcomers and of our government. For them, everything is okay. It says, for example, a lot of these children of them, they play soccer or football in German sports clubs. They're well integrated. They learn the language. 10,000 of these 1.7 million are even enrolled at a German university. Yeah, 10,000 out of 1.7 million. So that's great numbers. So what? So let me tell you, it is talking from their perspective. What about the German people? Has it paid off for them? That question is not even raised here, right? It says it's, and I'm not even arguing with the guy here. Yes, for these newcomers, it is great in Germany. They don't even have to work. They get an apartment, they get a house, they get a cell phone, they get free wireless, they get everything for free. The German taxpayer provides them with it. Yeah, for them it's great. For them it paid off. Congratulations. But this is not what most people would understand by Merkel's gambit or gamble paid off. What about the German people? For them it didn't pay off. They have to pay for it. Yeah, this is the only payment that I see here, is the tax payments that we make that goes into the pockets of these newcomers. Okay? So that is a question of perspective, and that is very clear. The article doesn't say actually that it paid off for the Germans. It paid off for the newcomers and for Merkel. Great. Awesome. Okay, what is my next point? My next point is something that is not at all mentioned, of course, in the article, and that is, are we still Germany? Our country changes because of that. You can look at, crime stats, you can look at economic numbers, statistics, employment ratios, and GDP and all that stuff, but are we still Germans? Can our children still grow up as Germans in Germany? Can we still practice our customs, our traditions? Can we even have celebrations? At the moment, we can't actually. Yeah, next year, Carnival will probably be cancelled. Of course, there is a different reason, but it has been under pressure anyways. Yeah, so all these customs that we have, our songs, our traditions, it is impossible. And every year that goes by, it becomes harder and harder to hold on to our traditions and to practice them and to pass them on to our children and grandchildren. It will become impossible. And this is something that the article is not even interested in. Okay, so yeah, Angela Merkel, she is still in power. Congratulations, applause. But Germany is not Germany anymore. And soon it will be unrecognizable, even in areas where it is still, small town Germany, where it is still pretty much okay. In 5 or 10 years, it will be unrecognizable. Okay? Because we are distributing these people over Germany. Even small towns in rural areas are getting these people now. It will be unrecognizable. Okay. And there is one more thing I want to add towards the end to the economic side. I have put some links down below. Depending on what the authors in the mainstream media news want to emphasize, depending on that, these same numbers are read this or that way. For example, if you say that, half of the people have a job, half of them doesn't, okay, then sometimes they say, oh, Merkel did a great job, the government is great, half of them are employed, yay, winning. But if they want to actually get more money, and then they present that a little differently. Then they say, half of them still haven't found a job. Oh, discrimination is so bad. We need more money. We need more effort. We need more, struggle against stereotyping and against prejudice, and so bad, these poor people. Oh, so yeah, you find articles that are written like this and like that. It's like Schrödinger's employment ratio or something. Sometimes it's good, sometimes it's bad, depending on what you want to achieve. Yeah. So I don't take that serious. Fact is, at the moment in Germany, we have full-time employment. Everybody who wants to have a job in Germany right now has a job. Yeah, the only people that I know or that I've heard of who are unemployed are people who want to be unemployed. They say, "Oh, working is just not my cup of tea." Well, this is one category. The other category is people who want to stay within a 5 kilometer radius of their tiny village. Yeah, uh, yeah, then you might not find a job. But if you are mobile a little bit, yeah, you will find a job in Germany, no problem. At the moment, still. Next year, that will be different, and more about that in following videos. I made videos in the past where I said the German economic boom is over, but right now I would actually go further than that. I wouldn't just say the boom is over. I would say next year we are in deep trouble. Deep trouble. In autumn already, I think we will see the first signs, and it will become very harsh economically in Germany. And I don't know what's going to happen, but we have, well, they say 1.7 million. We all know it's more than that. There were people like that before 2015 in Germany already. So the actual number of that problematic group is much larger. We're talking about probably 5 million people that want tribute payments. And if they don't get them, well, they will probably become very, very, how should I say that? Uncomfortable to be around, dangerous to be around. We will see. All right, so this was basically my response to that wonderful Guardian article from this very, very robust looking young man from Berlin. Um, yeah, let me know down in the comments below what you think about that, if I have forgotten something, or if I should have one more cup of tea, or better, one more beer. Um, I will look at what you have to say about that. So, but these, from the top of my head, these were my major points I wanted to make. So, my verdict is that this is misinformation, very clearly. Some of it is correct, of course, but it omits a lot of things, and the concerns of the German population are not even addressed. Now you can say, oh, the majority of Germans, if you look at the polls and at the surveys, they are actually satisfied with Merkel's work. Yeah, okay. But many of these people are very old. Many of them listen to the mainstream media all day long, and they stick their heads into the sand. They don't know what is gonna come. And people like me are warning Germany and are warning other countries. I say to many countries, take Germany as a warning. Yeah, I tell them things will get worse. Okay, I have read articles today that economically it will get very, very bad. And then let's see what happens if our country is still stable, and if basically the politicians are paying off the voters. Yeah, they're giving them stuff, vote buying, basically. Yeah, this is what's going on, and this is why people are still kind of satisfied, but this will change very, very quickly. And then, when it changes, the NPCs and normies will say, "Oh, nobody could have seen that coming. Why is it happening? Why is it happening?" When people like me were warning you for 10 years already, and I'm following these news for over 10 years. Yeah, actually, more like 15, 20 years, depending on where you look at the threshold, but for a long time, for 1 or 2 decades, yeah, give or take, I'm following these news, not just for since 2015 or 16 or something, yeah, but for a long time. And I have predicted all that stuff. And now I predict that it will become much worse. And we will see. And when drastic things happen, they will all act surprised, but it's not surprising. Yeah, you don't need to be a prophet. It is not rocket science or quantum chemistry. You can clearly see the signs already. So, again, this is what I had to say about this article. Most Germans don't know about the actual state of affairs. That is sad. And they're still voting for these legacy parties, for these centrist parties. But yeah, maybe they will be very surprised next year. Who knows? If they had listened to the right people, they wouldn't be surprised, but that's just how it goes, I guess. Servus, Kameraden.